Welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel K. You might know me from my Instagram at Mrs. Rachel Krause. And today I'm taking you through my meal prep and showing you everything that I like to make for the week ahead and I love to have on hand to make things easier. We're gonna jump right into it with some organic steel cut oats. I'm doing 4 cups of boiling water to 1 cup of steel cut oats. And I also like to add in some salt and a little dash of vanilla into my water just to give it some flavor. The oats take a little while to cook, which is why we're starting them first. And I'm going to go ahead and add in some coconut flakes for some extra flavor as well. I love to have these oats on hand to be able to heat up quickly in the mornings for my little 7-month-old and I, and it's super easy breakfast for both of us to eat. Next, we're going to get started on chopping up our sweet potatoes. These take a little while to cook in the oven, so I like to get these going pretty quickly too. I like to cut them up in smaller bite-sized pieces because they're a little bit quicker to cook, but they're also easier to feed to my 7-month-old Logan. We do a lot of baby-led weaning with him, so I love to give him some types of like mushier type foods that are easier for him to chew and grab with his fingers. So sweet potatoes are great. They're a favorite of his and they're awesome for you as well. They're really high in vitamin A, vitamin C, and potassium. Spicing my sweet potatoes on the savory side today, but if you wanted to go for more of the sweet side, that would be easy and so delicious as well. You could easily just put on a pat of butter, mix it all around, and put on some cinnamon and maybe even a little bit of brown sugar, and these would be delectable. So you might be able to see what I have on my parchment paper here. I am cutting these up into somewhat of different shapes. Some of them I'm doing like cubed and smaller, which I will have for my lunches. And then some of them I have in a longer like finger type shape, if you will. And those are more for Logan so that he can grab them easily and put them in his mouth himself. They tend to cook around the same time, so I've had no problem with that. But I do have 2 different types of shapes and sizes on there. And yep, we are still going. This is why I start with the sweet potatoes. Not only do they take forever to cook, but they also take me forever to cut up raw. So I am just trucking along here trying to get this finished, but I can tell you the end product is so worth it. It is so worth it to be able to go into the fridge and just easily pull out anything on a dime whenever he's hungry or for lunch or whatever and have it ready to go and not have to do any prep work. Well, prep work in the moment, that is, because this right here is a whole frick ton of prep work. The light is at the end of the tunnel, y'all. I am throwing all of these onto my parchment paper and we are gonna get them spiced up. So I've got a drizzle of olive oil going on, then I've got some black pepper and some garlic powder, red pepper flakes, and some oregano. I'm just pouring all that on, no specific measurements, it's all just to taste. And then I am going to mix it all up and lay it in like a flat layer. I don't want anything overlapping or on top of each other. And then we're gonna go ahead and throw them in the oven at 425 for around 35 to 40 minutes is what it really took. I just tend to check them at around 25. And here I am checking my oatmeal, making sure that that's all going well. And then I'm gonna throw in some fruit because I can see it's nearing the end here. And the fruit helps to naturally sweeten it as it's cooking, especially the banana. If you guys haven't tried that, it's amazing. So I'm showing you here what I make for my oatmeal every single morning. I do a 1/2 cup of oat milk and 1/4 cup of chia seeds, and I mix that all around and let them kind of gel together. I also throw in some craisins and some brown sugar to my mixture, and it'll make such a yummy little like chia seed pudding on the bottom. And then I'll let that sit over there while my oatmeal finishes cooking. I'm gonna get started on chopping up some broccoli. You can see that I just saved those stems in a Ziploc baggie, and that's because I'm gonna use them in a soup later on this week. They really help to flavor your broth whenever you put them in there. Just boil them up in your broth and then take them out before serving, and it really helps give it like a nice flavor. So I'm just going to cut up these broccoli heads into florets, and I'm going to store half of it in a Ziploc bag and put half of it on parchment paper to go into the oven. We're going to move along to our next vegetables that are all going to be going on the same baking tray, same parchment paper as the broccoli. And we're going to be starting with these freshly washed Brussels sprouts. I like to cut off the ends and then slice them in half, or sometimes fourths. These ones were super big, so I cut some of them in fourths. And I like to make sure that I get that extra skin that falls off to get onto the parchment paper because it gets all crispy, and I absolutely love that part. So we're just cutting up quite a few of these so that we can store them all away in a container all together. And they're all going to cook around the same time. I don't love to overcook my veggies, but I have been lately so that Logan can have some of them. If I overcook them just a little bit, they're a little bit easier for him to chew and less of a choking hazard for him. So I'm just going to get rid of those Brussels sprout stems, and we're going to move along to asparagus. I'm going to wash them, and then if you just hold asparagus and kind of fold it in two, it'll naturally break wherever it's supposed to, so you don't even have to go about chopping them, and it's kind of fun and satisfying, not going to lie. So we're going to go in and make sure all of our asparagus is trimmed up, throw away all those trimmings, and then I'm going to go ahead and put away all my veggies back into the fridge and get my area cleaned up just a little bit. And I almost forgot some of my favorites. I'm just going to throw a few of these freshly washed mini bell peppers onto the tray as well. No need to do any prep work for these. Just throw them right on there and mix them in with the bunch. And this is about when my timer went off to check the sweet potatoes. They weren't quite done yet, but they were getting really close, so I decided to throw them back in for a few more minutes. And while I do that, I am going to go ahead and drizzle these veggies with some olive oil and get the same spices on there that I put on my sweet potatoes. So some oregano, some red pepper flakes, some garlic powder, and some pepper. My sweet potatoes still needed a couple more minutes, so while they are finishing cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and peel this cucumber and then get it all sliced up and then divvy it up into 3 different Ziploc bags. And then these are super easy for Derek to take to work whenever he needs a little snack. He loves cucumbers and carrots and ranch. We didn't have any carrots this week, but I did have cucumbers, so I got those all sliced up and ready to go for him, and that way he has a healthy snack to take on the go. My sweet potatoes are finally ready to come out of the oven. You can see that I check them every time with a knife. I'm just checking to make sure that they're tender and ready to go. So I take these out of the oven and then I'm sliding my parchment paper over. I only have 1 baking sheet at the moment, so I am rotating things through, and I'm just putting my veggies on the baking sheet. They're all ready to go because they were already on their own parchment paper. I'm laying them in a flat layer, and then I'm going to throw those in the oven again at 425, and then we're going to put those in for about 20-ish minutes. Our oatmeal was ready a long time ago, but I did not have enough hands to tend to it, so I just laid it off to the side to let it thicken. So here I'm just scooping out some oatmeal to put in my breakfast for the morning. And then the rest of it I will be putting away in a Tupperware for the rest of the week, and it's actually been wonderful to have this on hand. I will definitely be doing this from now on, and I'm just stirring it in here. I like to make a mixture out of it, and then I'm going to be topping it with some sunflower seed butter that I get from Trader Joe's. I love this stuff, and then I'm going to be topping it with some mini chocolate chips as well. And here are those toppings I was telling you about. This is the sunflower seed butter. The only ingredients in this are sunflower seeds and salt. And then I also put on those mini chocolate chips, which are my total weakness. This is the favorite part of meal prepping for me. I love to see everything come together and go into its own little Tupperwares, all neat and tidy, and I can see just how much food I have prepped for the week. So here I am just taking my parchment paper and letting all these sweet potatoes fly into their own Tupperware, and this is when I realized I had too much for one Tupperware, and it does get a little messy, but this is real life, you guys. I'm not like a professional cook or anything like that, obviously. So I'm just going to divvy these up into 2 Tupperwares so that they don't get smushed by the lid, and these will be ready to go. Perfect timing because our veggies are ready to come out of the oven. They're perfectly roasted, a little bit overdone like I said, but that is on purpose. So I'm just taking this parchment paper off so that they can cool and they won't continue cooking. And then once they were cooled enough, I went ahead and put them into their own Tupperware as well and got them all ready for the week. And my hard work is done. I have a huge batch of veggies, a huge batch of sweet potatoes, a huge batch of oatmeal, some cut up broccoli, and some cut up cucumbers, and we are ready for the week, you guys. I absolutely loved making this video, so if you guys like these type of videos, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below. I make videos every single week, 3 times a week on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And if you want to see this special little cookie recipe that I made, I absolutely loved it. It will be in my next meal prep video. So we'll see you next time. Bye!